In this video presentation, we'll take a look at the summer outlook for 2016. Here are some highlights from the National Weather Service. La Nina continues developing in the equatorial Pacific. There are dry, abundant fuels across our region. That basically means there's a lot of grass and a lot of weeds that potentially could start fires and spread fires. We are looking at a 5-year drought, a major drought with 1 to 2 years of precipitation lost. We've had record heat in 2014 and 2015, which makes this the worst drought for the state. Above normal temperatures continue, and we're expecting that again for 2016 summer with heat waves and above average monthly temperatures. We look for an average monsoon. That means thunderstorms in our mountain areas. Remember, the monsoon is the seasonal shift of the wind, which draws moisture in from the south. And then looking much further out, late summer and early fall, we do expect above average potential for Santa Ana winds as the La Nina conditions in the ocean set up. Here's a look at the fuel moistures that were discussed in the prior slide. The grasses have cured out, as they normally do across our region, producing that golden look on the fields and hills. The chart on the right shows that the fuel moisture of these grasses have now reached about average and continue to drop as we progress into the summer. Now, every year we have a concern for wildfires in our region. Last year we did have a major one in the San Bernardino Mountains, the lake fire. Here's a view of it on satellite and also a view from helicopter. The wildfire potential for our region is above average, and the concern is the weeds, grasses, and shrubs that did grow from the rain we did receive this past winter. Even though it was below average, it was good timing where the rain came in December, January, and then again March. The month of May was actually on the cool side for the Southwest and moist, as shown here on the left-hand side. Precipitation did occur earlier in the month, especially in the desert regions and in San Diego County. And then temperature-wise, we finally saw a break from the 2 years of warm temperatures, and temperatures were near normal to a little bit below normal, though warming rapidly increased across the Pacific Northwest, as shown on these maps. El Nino is now officially over. The warming of the equatorial Pacific Ocean peaked in late November and December, as shown on the left-hand side. Since then, it gradually weakened, and now we are looking at neutral conditions across the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Here's a view at that peak El Nino condition in the ocean. It set records. It was a very strong event, and it covered an area the size of the United States, as shown here. We can't blame the lack of rainfall or warm temperatures on El Nino itself, because it was a strong event, as shown. Now, that warming began across the California coast actually last year when the blob of warm water moved up in late 2014 and 15. El Nino peaked out during the latter part of 2015 into 2016, as shown here. And recently, the water has cooled along our coasts as well. Now, where did it rain? Since October 1st, 2015, the center of the United States has been the wet spot, especially Texas and the high plains. You can see the Northeast and the desert Southwest, including our region, far below normal, where precipitation was anywhere from 50% to 80% of normal. Now, for the water year, you can look at the west in this image, and you can see how the Southwest stands out significantly. This is basically the opposite of what typically has occurred in strong El Ninos. In this case, the Pacific Northwest was above normal, as well as parts of Northern California, and the desert Southwest below normal, and in some cases quite a bit below normal. Temperature-wise, we continue to see warm temperatures across the west, no different this past winter. Since October 1st, most of California has been several degrees above normal, with the majority of the warm temperatures being across the northern Rockies, as shown here, and into the Pacific Northwest. This has also resulted in early snowmelt. Speaking of temperatures, the past 2 years have been record-breaking warm, as shown here. There has not been an annual period that has exceeded 2014 or 15, and they are back-to-back years across all of California. Global temperatures, as shown on the table here as well, are the warmest we've seen on record. Take a look at the precipitation plot for California, and specifically here we're looking at the south coast from the LA Basin down to San Diego. Now, normally we see precipitation in that region between 15 and 20 inches. In some of the strong El Nino years that are marked on the display, much more occurred. In fact, double in some cases. 2015 and 16 fell well short, around 10 inches. Now, despite the lack of precipitation, the drought has improved, especially across the Pacific Northwest. The image on the left is the current depiction of the drought, and you can see the difference and the improvement. However, across the southern part of California, there has been no improvement. In fact, it's worsened across Utah and Arizona, as well as Nevada. Now, what are we expecting in the equatorial Pacific Ocean for ocean conditions? Well, the neutral conditions are expected to continue to cool, and we expect a cool phase or La Nina to develop this summer, especially towards the end of the summer. It's too early to tell if that will have much impact on our summer, but historically, conditions have been quite variable for the fall and winter of the following year. Here's a depiction of the cooling that we expect to expand across the equatorial Pacific Ocean. We also expect some of the very warm temperatures that are currently in place across the eastern Pacific to cool. The official outlook as we go into the heart of the summer expects normal monsoon conditions. That means there's no indication of it being above normal or below normal. I will note that the past couple years, in 2014 and 15 summers, we've had a very active monsoon in Southern California. The monsoon is the seasonal wind shift that draws tropical moisture up and allows thunderstorms to form across our region. In the past couple years, those storms have even formed and produced lots of lightning along the immediate coast. Temperature-wise, we expect above normal temperatures as we roll through the next few months. And within that period, there should be some embedded hotter heat waves producing these above normal temperatures as we go through the summer months. Now, we're not expecting a record-breaking warm summer like we've seen the past couple years, but still above normal. Some things to keep in mind are the summer safety tips and weather hazards that affect our region. Those include wildfires, drought, hurricanes. Yes, even last year, the remnants of Dolores and Linda produced widespread heavy rain in our region, which did result in local flooding. Severe weather, rip currents are always a challenge in our region. Air quality, heat, lightning. We mentioned that lightning even occurred at our beaches during the past 2 summers. And last but not least, tsunamis, which can occur anytime in the Pacific Ocean. Thanks for tuning in, and be safe this upcoming summer.